Hello, everybody. How are you? Well, I had a fun day today. In fact, whoops, almost forgot. Miss Polly came over to sew, and I have some pictures of her when she came here, when she was here. So hold on, I've got to get them. So, how is everyone? I'm so excited to see you all. Let me see. I'm looking. Let me do one thing real quick. I've got to make sure to turn my phone on because I went to take pictures of her with my phone. Of course, it was dead. So I had to go get Mark's, and he said he sent them to me. Uh-oh. I'm not getting the phone to come on. Maybe it's really dead. Oh, no. Okay. Well, it really is not coming on. All right, let's see. Hold on just a second. I need to get a hold of Mark and say, send me the pictures of Miss Polly. So, let's see. I'm going to try one more time to start my phone because we plugged it in. No luck. Well, something happened. Okay. Well, hold on one second because I really want to get these pictures. So hold on just a second and I will go ask him to please send the pictures of Miss Polly. Mark? Mark? Oh, darn. Well, I couldn't. I tried hollering up to him. Maybe he's taking an after dinner nap, which I think I might do. If I can't get his attention upstairs, I'll have to show Polly's pictures Sunday. Now I got to figure out what's going on with my phone. Oh well, as I told Polly when she was here today, my life is full of surprises. Okay, Mark made dinner early tonight. I was kind of surprised because after Miss Polly left, I went up and had something to eat. And then I was starting to drift off, take a little nap, and he goes, dinner's ready. So I ate again. But anyway, let's see all who's here. I noticed that Miss Marcia was first person here. Polly was the second. Yay, I didn't scare her away. You never know when she meets somebody in person, she'll go, she's not at all what I hoped she'd be. So, Lisa, hello, Miss Lisa. And Alberta is here. Linda McCollum, good to see you, sweetie. Okay, Laura's back, yay. Oh, a new person. Hello from Barben, Illinois. It's your first time here. Oh, Lisa Cape and Quilts is such a sweetheart. I really do like her. I need to go check and see what she's doing. Well, welcome here, Miss Barb. So Nut 5, welcome here. So, Linda Ramos, hello. Polly, let me see. Okay, Maria D, hello, hun. So, today, Lisa and I worked, Polly and I worked really hard on the quilts. And, it's your first time too? Well, welcome, Miss Linda Ramos. We are awfully glad to have you here. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to send you my email. And if you would like a copy of this pattern and the photos that I use to inspire my pattern, and I'll send you what the photo that Polly loved best. If you send me an email to this email address, hold on, let me think. Okay, our time to quilt Let me see. At twc.com. I still can't get used to the fact that I have to wear reading glasses again. Because when she took the cataract out, I lost that weird ability that you get when your cataracts get real bad. You can all of a sudden read without reading glasses. But once she puts the new lens in, you've lost it. So I am trying to get used to constantly wearing them. All right. Whoops. I don't really think I need my iron. So let me turn that off. And I want to get a few things straight. I had the best time sewing with Polly today. And so that was really nice. And I hope to get to do that again. That was a lot of fun. And it's just so nice. I love teaching any kind of techniques. But when you, whoops, I do need this one tonight. When you can do it in person, it makes so much more sense. Now, I think I've used these for now. But I wanted to show you. I was kind of showing her all the different fabrics. And Barbara Smith, hello, live the first time. It's really nice to see you. This is a fabric. And if you were to see it in person, I think the camera makes it look better. But it's barely a green. It's kind of a bronzy green. It's a kind of weird. And this is a fabric. If I didn't do landscape quilting, I would never have bought it. But when you start looking at fabric with a landscape quilter's eye, it's amazing what you grab, you know? All right, so I'm going to put these all come from my landscape pile. And for the most part, these are stones and pebbles and all that. All right. Now let me get my area a little bit set up. Let me so any questions? Hello. So I am so glad to see all of you. Okay. What we're working on right now is called the Misty Woodland quilt. And this is to teach us the value of color value. It's to teach us the benefit of light, medium, and dark. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is my mediums pile. Okay. Now, some of them are starting to look a little dark, but if you were to see my darks, you would know it's all relative. It's like, what do you have? Now, this one I definitely would term a dark. So that will go into a different pile. And fabrics like these are wonderful for landscapes because it gives you so many possibilities. All right, let me move a couple little things here. I didn't quite get down here as early as I wanted. We were watching the new season of Jack Irish, which is an Australian show and kind of fun. So we were busy watching that. All right, so I'm just going to pull out real quickly so I don't waste your time. I'm going to pull out all my scraps and kind of get things where I want them. I've got some tailor's chalk to help mark the pattern. So I'm going to go back from a little bit from the beginning because there's a couple things I thought of today when Polly was here that I'd like to share with you. And if you have tulle, put that aside. You're not going to use that until almost at the end. So it's always good to show you what you can get. Now here are my lights. These are my light greens. And what I like to do when I'm working on a landscape quilt is I like to kind of organize the fabrics. Let me pull you over here. But I like to kind of organize my fabrics by color because it makes it so much easier when I need a certain color. All right, now okay. I'm going to bring this tray table up here. All right, here is my quilt so far. And this is I'm just starting, and it is very much subject to change, okay? I've got a dark, medium, and light with my pathway, and I wish it were darker. So one thing I'm going to do is use my ink tints, and I'm going to make this a wee bit darker because it just doesn't contrast enough. What we're doing is we're using light, medium, and dark to show depth and distance. And then once we've done it the best we can with our fabrics, then we'll layer over top of the very lightest part, we'll layer over the tulle. But we're going to try to do everything we can with the fabrics you have first, okay? Last week I was using this tacky glue, and I thought, wow, because it sticks right away. I've changed my mind on that. When I was working on this week, I found that I constantly edit as I go. I'll put a fabric in, then decide later, no, I don't like it, because it's all relative. I might put a new fabric part way, and then the other one, no, don't like that. So I have now decided I do not like this because of the way I work. It's a little helter-skelter. It's a little more erratic. And today when Polly was here, I went to try to pull up some fabric. It would not come up. Well, that's great if you want a really tight, remember tacky glue when you want to really, when you're very sure of yourself and you've got it exactly where you want and you never want it to come up. But I went back to my school glue because I need to be able to edit, and I'm constantly editing. So hopefully you'll understand that. And yes, and you're right, Linda. I saw that change in color definitely builds. And so, and don't get too hyper-focused. Try to stay a little bit aloof from it in the early stages. If you jump in and try too hard to do all the little stuff, you'll lose track of the big picture. Now, how many times have you heard people say, keep your eye on the big picture? But there is a very valid point to that. And so what we're going to do, I wish I had worked earlier. I love this. It almost looks like a type of camo batik, and you probably would think I would never buy that. But it's really good. It's really, really, really good for doing shadowy areas, okay? So I did use that, but I think I'm about done now. I see somebody asked a question. Hi, Patricia. What size is what? Oh, the fabric stash? Go ahead and tell them, Polly. She's a beginner quilter, so she was impressed with the fabric stash I had. But I told her, oh boy, all the other professional quilters that I know of have way more. But she made me very grateful for the fabrics I have. So that meant a lot. And I've been collecting for over 30 years. So, okay. There is a place, Save Scraps. Even this scrap I'm going to save, because there's probably a place on here that I need a little sliver to fit between trees or what have you. I love batiks. I love fabrics like this that have a lot of personality, a lot of different colors, and a variation of lights and darks. Batiks, I think, are my very favorite. So, and I tried a little bit of this fabric. This looks so interesting. It's kind of cheater fabric because it's definitely got the trees right on there. But I think I'm going to have to go in the white background and use an ink tints pencil because it would be perfect for snow, but I don't think it's quite right for what I want. So I've almost got this a little bit straight. I just want to get it down to a dull roar so then I can concentrate with y'all. All right. All right. So I'll put this back over with my dark. This was an interesting fabric. And it almost looks like a mossy tree trunk, but I think it works really well in a forest setting. But we're really, really, really going to work on color and value and tint because it all matters. And I was telling Polly today to use dull colors as well as bright. When I say a dull color, okay, let me show you. This is a grayed down. It's got a little touch of gray in it, where this is a little brighter. Can you kind of see the difference? And it's important when you do your landscapes to put a lot of the gray, especially in the distance. But you can't choose all bright colors because your landscape quilt will look one-dimensional. It'll look like a cartoon. That's the main thing. A cartoon doesn't have all the subtleness. It just has color. And a tree is brown and green, not the myriad shades that a true landscape is. So I've got all of this. All right, I think I'm pretty tickled at this point with what I've got. And I just like I said, I like to group my colors so that it's easier to grab something I want unless it falls on the floor. So, okay. All right. Now I've got all my little scraps. Scraps, though, are wonderful. I keep a baggie that I keep all my scraps in, and that's wonderful because just like with applique, landscape quilting is wonderful for using little bits of this and that. In fact, I was telling Polly that most of the time you don't have to buy more than a fat quarter of landscape fabric. And I was also telling her, I was trying to kind of make mental notes as I was talking to her so I could remember. Because, you know, that's the one nice thing about talking to somebody, working with somebody in person, is you talk about it and look at it a little bit different. Hi, Charlene Lawson. Betty's here. Hi, Betty Middleton, hon. So when talking to somebody in person, sometimes you think of things you wouldn't when you're just talking like this. And so I tried to remember as I was talking to her, oh, tell the guys this, tell the guys that. And the main thing to remember is this. In this quilt, we're working from the ground up. And that's different than a lot of landscape quilts. But that's because we are going to, at some point, we're going to add the tulle to give it the misty look. And so we're going to start at the ground, blocking our color in, and then work up towards it. So, all right, and save a little scrap like that. That becomes a branch. See, very simple, just certain things you save. All right. And if you're a kind of person that doesn't like to save too much, give yourself a time limit. If I haven't used this in 6 months, then you can throw it out. But all right, now I'm pretty organized. Sorry, it took me a little while. And now I'm going to start to work. So let me show you what I've got. Careful with the camera. All right, what I was talking to Polly about is blocking in your major group things. That's why I'm not starting at the top on this one. I've got some trees that are going to be the foreground. I've got trees that are going to be mid-ground. And then we're going to have the background trees. And there are 3 distinct values. And the values is the lightness or the darkness. The tint, I think, is how much gray or white it has added to it. I always forget this. So if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. And I should have looked at it before we got on here, but sometimes I tend to forget that. But anyway, what I'm doing now is I've put in my path, and and this I'm going to even make darker, because see, it on the camera, it doesn't show up. It doesn't show up as accurately. This came out much lighter, but this, I'm just going to take ink tints and I'm going to color in there and give it even more intensity, because things are darker and more distinct when they're closer to you. They get lighter and more gray as they work away from you. So now I've got my edges of my forest are going to be my darkest. The light color will stay in here. Now the truly light is going to start at this point here and is going to be all up in here. But first I've got to lay out this. I call this blocking in your large color. Okay. Now, I am now adding 2 because I want to build up all my plant life. Now, not all of this will be here permanently. One of the problems I am concerned about is I have glued the fabric over this. And I do like that I drew on the muslin, but for some of you, you might actually want to draw the pattern twice. And I'm going to show you why. Oops. I have a product called Golden Thread. I have a product called Golden Threads paper. Golden Threads. Okay. And it's translucent. Okay. You see my hand behind it? Now what? Hi, Teresa Louise. How are you? All right. So what I think I'm going to do is, here is my drawing. And what I'm going to want to do is lay this over my drawing and outline it. And let me see. I'm trying to decide which way to. I think I'll put them this way. All right. I'm going to cut 2 pages and tape them. Tape it if you have to do like I'm doing and connect 2 pages. Please make sure to tape it up on the back, because if you tape it on the front, it won't let you write right where the tape is. All right, so there. Let me grab a little bit of tape real quick. All right, here we go. And this is called Golden Threads, and 1 spool of this paper, unless you really use it heavily, 1 spool of this paper will probably last you a lifetime. I've had this spool, 6 years at least. So now I don't use it every time I make a quilt, but the more I put fabric over the lines, the more I realized I was covering up important information. So I thought I would do kind of a hybrid, where I have drawn on my muslin background, but then I'm going to come here, and I'm not going to do the whole thing, just enough to kind of show you. And it's easier to do the Golden Threads paper using a marker of some sort, okay? All right, yes, tracing it out really does help. And so what I'm going to do, so it means you draw it twice. But I think that's all right. I mean, it's time that I think that it will really save you a lot of work in the background. But you're just going to kind of come along, and you can see how easy it is to see through. There. And so then you'll just kind of draw in. And the main thing I need is, like over here, which kind of limbs and bushes and things I had wanted to come out into, to kind of cover up part of the trees, a little bit of a peekaboo. But you can see just just a quick outline to kind of remind you, and then a quick outline of the trees. But that line is a little too curvy there. Trees do not curve that much unless something's really wrong. Okay, so this I think will give you an idea, and later on I'll finish it and get it just right. And this way you can write what color you're thinking. You can write what exactly is it a bush down here that's kind of in that shape, or is it a branch off a tree? But do a golden threads if you can to lay over the top. The nicest thing is then you can see, like, look, I can lay it right on the work, and I can see, yes, I've got my path where I wanted it. Then I can put these things. So I kind of like doing both, drawing it on this paper, on the foundation, which is muslin, and drawing this here. Now, Miss Judy Lilly taught me this about using the golden threads paper, and I wanted to show you what she does is take a few straight pins, and she will pin it to the work up top like this, okay? And you put pins across the top. That way, you can lift this up to work on it. Then when you want to, bring it back down to check and see how you're doing, if you have it where you want it to. Now, if you want to go more freeform, then you can do that too. So I just like to show you several ways and let you decide which way works best for you. All right, so I'll move that over there for right now. Another thing is take your inspiration piece and keep it very handy, because you will constantly, just being able to constantly look at your inspiration will keep you focused on what you're going to do right now. So, okay. Oh, Marsha, I'm glad you like those. Okay, now, all right. So what I'm doing, you see here, I've gone from very dark to a medium, and here is the line that moves into that very bright magical. And if you want, you can take chalk and draw that line right across. Okay, and that way you'll know from this up, it's going to be that special light. In fact, let me pull up the photo. It's going to be that special light section that is the bright little light in the woods. Okay, let's see. All right, here we go. Okay, here is a good inspiration that I'm using. And so you actually have a line. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean here, but behind these, you can see the light coming through the trees. See how you do that? So have a line that you know everything from here back. Oh, hold on. Okay. Let me get back to y'all now. All right, let's see. And another thing I like, besides those chalk markers, is Taylor's chalk. It only costs about $2. You can get it many different places. This is Clover brand, and this stuff is wonderful. See, can you see that line? And then when you want to get rid of it, you can just rub it, and rub it with a paper towel or a little piece of fabric or your finger. So these are my favorite marking things. I've tried friction, I've tried everything. But when I'm working on a design like this, I like a Taylor's chalk. All right. So now I've got a couple medium trees over here. And Oops, there's another one right there. So I'm going to get some tree fabric and come in here. Now let me think. Miss Polly, if you can think of things we talked about today, please jump right in and help tell them. I know I talked about the glue. I know I talked about the color and blocking out your work. Don't get too, like, I'm not going to work on making the individual bushes right here right now. See, I'm just blocking color because we do it one layer at a time. And a lot of times I'll try to work from the very back and come forward. So like I've started putting some of the light green here towards the edges. It's gotten darker. And when I put this tree trunk in here, I am going to have it. That's why I like my school glue, so that I will be able to pull it away and put things under it or put things over it. So it's going to kind of stop here because it's going to go behind another branch. It's going to come across. But here is this. So let me put a little, the glue just holds it into place right now. When you've got all the pieces that you want, where you want them, then you're going to take invisible thread and you're going to take invisible thread. Don't put too much on. It will bleed through, but just put little dots to hold it in place. So some of this is going to look like it's kind of floating a little bit, but that's okay because eventually we'll fill it all in. All right, so I'm just trying to get my medium trees blocked in. And this, I'm going to have this one in two pieces because there'll be a branch in front of it so you won't see. Let me see. Okay, maybe even three pieces. And this is a little darker than the mediums, but it's in between dark and medium. This is just color blocking. You can do things with thread painting, stuff like that. You can do that later. That will really, this was a little too wide, so I'm just going to pull it up. And honestly, when you're playing with this, just think of when you were a kid and you were playing with glue and construction paper. And just enjoy it, because that's really what I want for you, is to enjoy what you're doing. All right, so now I'll put this back in here. And this one's going to start to lean a little bit. And the rest is going to be pretty much covered. So I just need a little bit more. All right, I think, and this is, not much of this trunk is going to show. It's going to be background for branches and leaves. So I'm just going to tilt this in like this, and the rest will be covered. So that's all I'm doing right now. I'm not going to work on making it look like bark, anything like that. I'm just blocking stuff in. Now, over on this side, along here, is going to be dark areas. So I know I can start filling it in with some of my dark woodsy colors. So I might even put a strip of this. It's hard to find a straight piece. But I love this because it kind of has the varied look of what the dappled light you get through a forest. So I'm going to take this one because my edges are going to be dark. That's why I've got to color this in with ink tints. It's too light. But my edges are darker, and then it will get lighter as it comes to the center, and that sun is in the center. Now let me pull up this tree. And remember what I use on this. I use a piece of muslin that I have ironed a medium weight interface, fusible interfacing to. So let me, I probably stuck this down with tacky glue. So it's going to give me a fit. And that's why if you have to use tacky glue, try just a dot in the center so you can lift up the edges. Because that stuff, boy, it works really good. It's just not the best thing for what we're doing right here. All right, I think it just sticks a little too much, and especially when you're still editing and changing. So then I'll just slip in this green and blue darkness on this far side. I'll slip that in. All right, and I'll straighten it out later. I'm not even worried about that at this point, okay? So I've got my dark edge here. And that is the reason that dark edge is not going to work over there. So I will take and color in the white areas and make them nice and dark. All right. Now, I just wanted to see how it would look to have tree printed fabric. And it is cool looking to have instant trees over there, but it's too light and that doesn't work here. Fact, for right now, I might cover it up with some of this so that it doesn't look too odd. Now, this is a good fabric. One of the reasons I like fabrics like this, because it kind of looks like some light is peeking through. And also remember, your eyes will do a lot of the work for you. So when you put this in, your eyes want to see what they think is supposed to be there because your eyes have been looking at stuff and determining what it is for years. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. So, all right. Now, I better figure out what I'm doing. It's a little scary. I think I'm going to I need to once again, let me see. I don't know if my drawing's going to help enough. Okay, it tells me to I'm going to get a little bit of a medium and run through here. Oh, that's kind of cool. Even though this is a fern fabric, when you cut it, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Okay, this fern fabric is wonderful if you cut it in small pieces. If you cut it in big pieces, then you see that those are ferns. You can see it's a fern print. But if you cut it in small pieces, it looks like light filtering through the trees. So I think what I'm going to do is put this here. Well, that was easy. I got to lift up my path. Oh, boy. Okay, good. Yeah, with the school glue, you can still lift things up. And I like to tuck things under because it makes it so much easier to tuck things under. Let me put a couple dots of glue because I am going to be picking this up at some point to look at it. And that way I don't want to lose the fabric. I don't want when I lift it up, and that's another thing, is you can work for a while like this, but at some point you're going to want to have this vertical so you can look at it standing up, because this only gives you one viewpoint. And you're going to, most of the time when you look at it, it won't be in this position. It'll be up right in front of you. So, all right, I like that. I think that green brings some light in there. I like how this is a little muted. I like how that's sharper. Now, all of this is going to be the very light area. So what I need to do, this is good here, but I think I'm going to take part of this away and start working in the brighter fabrics. Because remember, the line for things to get The line is right here for things to start getting brighter. So I'm going to look at things that I'm going to get out some of my light greens. And lights they can be physically light. They can have yellow in them. I've got all of the, no, don't want to use that one. Okay. And then let me check my scrap bag. I've got some good lights in here. But yeah, use your scrap bag first if you can, because it saves you from cutting up your bigger pieces. Because like I said, you only have to use a little bit. All right. Oh, that's a nice light one there too. And since the light area comes from where the sun is really shining through the trees, pick a light green that has yellow in it. Now see how that like brings the light right into the area where you're working? This is a wonderful yellow green. Oh, look at all these scraps. They're wonderful. All right. So now I'll put some of these scraps back. And these are landscape scraps. They stay with my landscape. Oh, thank you for remembering the thumbs up. That is a dear heart. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think the more thumbs up I have, the more people will come and try to see, well, what is she doing to get those thumbs up? And I love having people come and join us and have fun with us. And this is, did I show you this earlier? That's a nice grayed down piece. And it's the juxtaposition of the darkened or gray washed fabrics that really make the bright ones pop. Like it's the difference between these two. That's grayed over. This is pure bright. So that is nice. Okay. And this one has a lot of yellow in it. It really is going to say sunlight. So let's get busy with that. All right. So let's see. I need to, that is wonderful. All right, so I'll bring these here. Get all of my lights handy so I can look at them together. Oh, that's a good one. All right. Now, what I'm going to need to do, hold on one moment. I'm going to come back here and look at my inspiration. And what I am looking to see is where is the point that it is the brightest. And right there, it's like the light is beaming down. But right here, I would say, this is pretty light too, but it doesn't really have as much color. See what I mean about being grayed down because it's farther away? You're looking through atmosphere that you don't even realize is there most of the time. But right here. So, all right, I'm going to take my very lightest. And what this is actually going to do, I think I need a little small strip of this across. I need a small strip of this across the path. Okay. Or do I want, let me see, I might want a scrap of a white fabric. Oh, this is neat. It's a very lightweight. Let me try a piece of this. I'm worried about going too light, because what might look white to you can be a very, very, very light green. In fact, oh, I forgot. I've got this. So I think this is a better choice because it's going to be a patch of sunlight on a grayed path. So let me find this and get a very, very light section of it. And I like that when they have the little dots and stuff on them, when they kind of look like they'd be great for undersea, little dots and circles, because that helps it look like the dappling too. So I think I'm gonna put the white aside for right now. Try it with this. All right, so what I need to do is I'm looking at the picture and whoops, I need to get in the very brightest part. And I think I need just a little. Okay. All right. Now this is going to go across right about here. Well, maybe. I'm looking how far from the bottom of the photo that I want. All right, so I'm going to then put a little glue where this is to go. And I'm going to tuck this in under there just a little. All right, so this is one of my bright lines. Then it goes back to being mostly bright. Then I'm going to have a greenish bright back here. So let me find a very... I'm thinking this might work better. I'm going to have another little bit of a lightish patch here. And this one it kind of looks like this. All right, and this one is up here. I don't know. That's maybe a little touch too dark. Let me see if I can find, here we go. I have a greenish patch on this. All right. Is there any greenish patch near the edge? Because I hate to go cut right in the middle, but if I have to, I will. All right, here we go. Let's get this. I think I'll be much happier with this because it's a little bit of a greenish shadow, a little bit of a pale. Yeah, see how, look how much darker this one is. I don't like it that dark. So now I'm just going to kind of cut a wavy line. When you don't want there to be a stark difference between one color and the other, just do a little wavy line, and that'll help break it up. Look at that. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of do a slight arch here and then come back down. All right. So I think this is good. And this is going to, and it's just what I see. I just look and go, what do I see? That's what I see. All right. And this is going to come up here. All right. So now I've got that part done. Now I can take this, maybe a modeled version of this. Yeah, this looks good. And I'm going to put this along. Now I need a very bright area right where this comes across. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and kind of cut the shape while I'm cutting. And this comes from this sunlight that comes through here. I've got it a little bit too big, so I need to cut it down. I just kind of look, place it, look again, cut it. This is better. All right. So this is where that sunlight manages to hit the ground in this little inner sanctum part of the woods. Okay. All right. Then I want to grade This is very bright. Now I want to grade down. So I think I'm going to use this. And this is going to come in here. And earlier I had put this piece that ran all the way up. But now I want to change a little bit. So what I'm going to do is take my chalk and I'm going to kind of draw the shape I see. Okay, let me get this cut. And please understand, this is just fabric, and it's just a very tiny bit of fabric. Do not become afraid. The worst thing that could happen is you could cut the fabric and then not like it. Well, you know, you wasted 2 square inches of fabric. And you haven't really wasted it. Save it in your scrap bag, and I bet you can find another. All right. So I kind of want this. This is going to run in behind here. All right. So there I have that. And like I said, I'm not worrying about, like, this is supposed to be kind of shrubby. I can worry about that later. Right now, I'm just blocking in color. Like that. And also, it's never too late to do a golden threads, another drawing. Lay it over what you have now and what you're thinking of and draw that in there. So never feel like, oh, well, I missed the chance to do it. Because with me, I've still got the original drawing that I was working from, and you might have that, or you know where you're going, so you can just draw it after that, and then you can change it as you go. It's not, none of this is written in stone. It's fabric, and that can change. Also, with batiks, look at both sides of your batiks to see where do you really want it to go. Now, I need something really washed out looking. This is pretty cool. This might give me a lot of what I want. So this is the next piece I'm going to go with. Because I want something, although I might come back to this dappled one. That's awfully blue. I really wanted it to be green. And I don't think I have enough green areas or yellowy green. I don't think I have enough areas of that to work. Now let me check out this one. See this? That could work too. In fact, this one might be better because it's not as distinct. Then check the other side. I think this is what I want. Here is the back side of this fabric. That's kind of cool too. So I'm going to audition with each of these. If the front is too intense, flip it to the back and see what you have. And let me show you the background, then I'm going to get your input. What I'm going for right now is doing this area right here. I want to be able to put a good sized piece because I can add on top of it. And I've got to put these little faded trees there. But I'm looking for this right here. Let me go back to y'all and see which one of these do you like best. Here is piece 1, and here's piece 2. Well, I don't know if you'll see that. Now let me find my mouse. Where is my mouse? That's one of the things. Watch where you put everything, because when you start laying out fabric, you will cover it over. Where did my mouse go? Come here, mouse. There it is. Okay. Now let me come back to see y'all. I was looking at my inspiration. Okay. Are you ready? Do you like fabric for that area of light background? Do you like fabric number 1 or fabric number 2. Which one? The back of the one that I used on the path. The back of the one. That would, the one I used in the path, I don't know if you mean this one. You like number 2, so you like the swirly parts, the back of that. That is kind of good. It's really nice and pale. Okay, Jody likes number 1. Okay, so we've got number 1 and number 2. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece about the right size, and then I'll place them there, and then we'll see again. All right. Okay. All right, get a piece of that. And a piece of this. All right. So now let's see what we've got. Now let me see if, whoops, I don't know if I have my little remote. I want to turn on my light, and I don't think I can reach it. Hold on a second. All right. I had to improvise. Okay. So here it is with this section. And then here it is with this one. I like how this is a little speckly, but I almost am thinking Jody might be right that this one might do the best. What are y'all thinking? Oh, that's a good point too, Patricia. That's a good point. Well, I'm going to audition, and we'll see. Let me see. See, because if I did this side, that's way too dark. So we're working with value, color and value to get that distance. All right. It's going to be tricky to get it behind everything. Okay, now where did I put this. Okay. I really regret using that tacky glue the first week because I had no idea it was going to be that firm. It was doing its job, let me tell you. Okay. Okay, let me see. All right, let me stick this down in here. Okay, kind of lift the edge. I'll have to lift this up to put it on it. And you know what I was thinking I could even do is then I can use a real pale wash of color. I'll maybe take my ink tints, oh gosh, what's it called, Polly, that I pulled out today? Not the pencils, but the blocks, ink tints blocks. And I can do a pale yellow wash over this. All right, now it's about time to go, but I wanted to show you something before I do go. So this is part of what's going to give us the look. And I've got a lot more to fill in with, don't worry. But, okay, and this will come along here. Okay. That comes along there. Okay. What I'm going to do for my trees, the tree in the Misty Woodland will be cut out of this. And that is really going to give the look of depth. Okay. So a tree back in there. It for the camera really hardly picks it up. Let me show you. But see how pale? They almost look ghostly back there. And that is what I'm going to want. Let me turn back off this overhead light because you know how it does. It's good at first to see the difference, but then it can fade too much. And if this tree, now that might be a little bit dark, but it's supposed to look really ghostly. Let's say that is too light. Then all I have to do is pick a good tree color and use the back side of that. I think this is too dark. So I think I'll either use this or I'll try to find something just a touch darker. So I think that would work. In fact, I was looking at, let me see, what's the underneath? This might be perfect. So let me cut a little strip of this. And it's all, you might think you know what you're going to use, but until you actually, it needs to be made smaller, but I'll probably somewhere in that range. I might even, no, that's the back of that already. So I will figure it out. But this is the part, I want to hurry up and do some of the other fun parts, but this is the part you have to do. And don't panic if it starts looking off. Take a look at your drawing again. See if maybe you're veering off course just a little bit. And try to bring yourself back on track. At this stage, you're wondering what in the world. But don't panic, because you can keep trying different things, switching a little bit in and out. But when those branches and all go in, when I put a little yellow wash on this, and then I start putting the ghost trees in, and then you like the darker better? Okay, good. That helps. So I can put a little cluster of dark trees here, and those will be the ghost trees further down. And they're going to be a lot smaller too. So I think that'll be good. Thank you. It was so nice having Polly over here today because I could bounce stuff off of her. It really does help to have someone to bounce stuff off of. So I've got to fill in little shapes and things, and then I'll come back and do some more with bushes and all of that. And then eventually I will be doing thread painting, be doing ink tints, coloring in work, that kind of stuff. And once the branches and stuff coming in, you'll be really pleased with how it's coming along. Let me get it in a position where you can see it a little better. But you see where over here, whoops, not there, but you can see where it's starting to look like a woodland. It's starting to give you that. Exactly, Adele. You don't want to go too fast. Now, the only thing with this is kind of fast right here because it's an opening in the trees where sunlight comes in. But what we're going to do to soften that is after we get all the stuff in here, we'll put a layer of tulle over it to kind of fuzz it out a little. But I've got to get, you have the darker colors of the things closer. You're fading in, but there's a pool of sunlight in here. So I think this is going to work. This is my pathway going off to here. So I think we'll stop at this point here. But we now have a good part of this blocked in. I still have to work up along here. I'll be adding a few trees. Some of the branches and some of the trees will be added with thread painting. I've learned that. Don't bother to cut little tiny skinny pieces of fabric when you can do the same thing with thread. Okay? And all the definition, the blending, all of that will be done later. Right now, it's blocking in the color. And this, I've got to tell you, and I told Polly today too, I can only do this so many hours, and then it starts to kind of get to me. It's hard work because you're trying something. Nope, pull that off. No, okay, I'll try this one. Nope, that doesn't quite do it. Okay, I'll try this. It is just a matter of, oh, you sweetie, it's just a matter of stopping and starting and seeing where you're going and being open to adjust and edit. Editing is your best friend. And I want this to be a beautiful, dark, misty forest. Let me show you one more time my inspiration. Okay, come on, inspiration. I've got two of them that I've used parts of this from. Let me make it larger so you can see it. All right. Look at that. And from this one, I am going to do the light streaming through the trees. I'm going to make sure to do that. We'll work on that next week. We're most likely going to use colors that we add to it. I might try to use a little bit of fabric itself to try that. Okay, now let me go to my next one. And that is this one. And I have another one that I used as inspiration because I wanted this to be a hilly area raised above the, but this is probably right now my main one that I'm using. And you see how you've got a nice, deep, green, lush, verdant forest with all of a sudden an open patch of sunlight. And it's misty sunlight back there. And that's what we're working on. Okay? So you can see it's darker here. And then as you get towards the middle in every direction, that's where it gets brighter. Okay? What's going to really make this work is when we have these branches go across in front of the pale circle of light. All right? So let me come back to y'all now. And I hope I'm making sense. If any of you have ideas on it on your own, you've made these, then please always chime up. If there's something that you say that I go, well, I don't know about that, then I'll tell you. But I love everybody to be able to add what they think at that point in time. So, yesterday, I was working with my granddaughter all day. I went to walk at the mall with them in the morning. Then I took her to Joann's. She has designed a dress for herself that I'm so excited about. And I'll make sure I take lots of photos for you. And I'm teaching her now how to make a garment. And it's a lot of fun because I'm using some of my costuming skills. Her dress is really neat, but I found a shirtwaist dress pattern that we could adapt. The hardest thing is going to be, instead of having the buttons straight up the front, she wants them off to the side. But we got everything cut out yesterday, and now she's starting to work, putting on a tiny little red braid on the edge of her collar, her belt, and her epaulets. So I'm so excited. I think it's going to be a really cute outfit for her to wear to school this year. So now I'm hoping to kind of light a flame in her that she's such a good designer, and I just want to kind of help add fuel to that fire. So I told her as long as she's interested in it once a month, let's do it. All right, everybody. I know that Saturday we're doing a Jitsi. So I have sent out about 4 or 5 invitations to our group, and I haven't noticed anyone join. So I'm going to go back. If you ever send me an email and I answer you back and say, I've sent you an invitation, check in your junk email box and see if somehow your email provider marked it as spam. But let me know. I can always, or you can go to Groups.io and look up Our Time to Quilt and request an invitation. But when I write you and say, I've sent you an invitation, I have. It's just you never know where it's hiding in your email. Okay? Well, I thank you all for spending another wonderful evening with me. It was a lot of fun to sew with Polly today. So my sewing tank is full up happy. And between my granddaughter and working with Polly, it was so much fun. And she gave me good ideas. At the same time, I'm trying to give her good ideas. So this all works. Okay, everyone? Take good care of yourself and do me a favor. Do something special just for you. If you haven't been vaccinated, run, don't walk to the nearest vaccination site. The current cases of COVID have gone up 100%. Please don't take a chance with your life. I've had my vaccinations. Polly's had hers. We are all fine and healthy and not so afraid. So please, you're running out of time. Stay healthy, okay, everybody? Even Linda. Linda had hers. So come on. I know you can do it. It's quick and easy and free. Not many things in life are free, especially staying alive, right? Take good care. See most of you on Sunday and Saturday at our Jitsi Sit and Stitch. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye, everybody.